I think you've raised several important points there when you said that Israel is the one that seems to have the most coherent strategy. It wants to diminish and weaken the other nations in the region to pursue the agenda of a greater Israel. But the way this war has gone, Iran has not emerged weakened or diminished in this war. It seems to have a strategic advantage at this moment. And even though the Israelis seem to be expanding by trying to take over more territory in southern Lebanon, the fact the war with Iran hasn't gone well would be looked at by Benjamin Netanyahu as a serious matter where the Americans perhaps may no longer be willing to help him out, because he's tried this with several other American presidents in the past. None of them was willing to start a war with Iran, and it was only Donald Trump who seemed to have agreed with him.
Well, again, I think that I don't want to digress into an experience I had when I worked in the Pentagon, in which we hosted an Israeli delegation in a semi-official capacity. The results of the meeting simply were, in which we exchanged perspectives, was that the Israeli focus on security wholly focuses on military instruments, military means, tactics and operations. So if you have this sort of mindset, this perspective that unlike in the West, in the United States, for example, and I think your country would be the same, is that security is best secured through a wide variety of different means, political means, economic means. Military tools are only one thing in the toolkit, and which you should only draw upon in extremis. That's not the Israeli view. The Israeli view is that security is a function of fences. It's a function of weapons. It's a function of security things. So from that perspective, Benjamin Netanyahu looks at the operations in Iran as a success. He looks at the destruction of buildings in Iran and the blowing up of hospitals and the attacks on infrastructure as weakening the state. So he has the long view. He takes the perspective, I think, that, well, maybe we didn't get everything done that we wanted in this round of hostilities, but the next round, maybe we will. So in other words, they're in a continuous kind of an armed struggle, which fits with the greater Israel Zionist ideology, which is driving the sort of politics of Israel today. So I think it's not necessarily correct to say that they don't view this as a success. They view this as a step in the right direction. And as for the relationship with the Americans, I think the Israelis take the view that the Americans are in their hip pocket. And there's nothing happened in the last...
Professor, we're short of time. I want to ask you just one more quick question. At this moment, as we speak, the time in Islamabad is 11:54 p.m. 6 minutes before midnight. The meeting is still ongoing. In your assessment, will J.D. Vance, is it a possibility that he could extend his stay in Pakistan for his negotiations, or do you think he'll return without any concrete results having been achieved as a part of these negotiations?
No. I hope, and I sincerely hope, that Vance stays in Islamabad and stays engaged. Talks like this can be expected to become a bit of an endurance contest, and I just hope that J.D. Vance and his team have the commitment to try to reach some kind of comprehensive settlement, to try to, again, solve the problems in the strait and try to bring the hostilities to a close on a more long-term basis between the United States and Iran.
The straits appear to be at the heart of the negotiations at this moment, because the contentious issue, it appears, as to who controls the straits. Iran says they do so now. Militarily, the Americans are pressing in the negotiations that the Strait of Hormuz should again be an open international waterway. We need to wait and watch out as to how things unfold there. But Professor Russell, thank you very much indeed for joining us and getting us those insights there.